Well, thank you for having me on your stage. It's always a pleasure to join you. I appreciate you for making this spot available to me. Today, I'm here to present Robert Cialdini's a PhD at Arizona State University, who studied throughout his entire career as a professor at that university the the importance of influence and how humans are wired for influence, um, and reciprocity and persuasion in the same way that we're wired for story. And I know if you've tuned in to this channel more than once, you know that Obehi spends all of his time helping us appreciate the power of storytelling, because we think, we dream, we problem solve using storytelling. And today, I'm going to present to you the concept of how we use storytelling to influence people using the thesis that's provided to us by Robert Cialdini, the PhD at Arizona State University. So let's get started. I use a mind map. I use it because I think it makes me smarter. Michelangelo, the great artist of the Sistine Chapel fame, used mind mapping with all of his great thinking. So I choose to use that as well. And it's hopefully it's something that you find interesting in the way it's used to present as well. If you want to know about me, this link will take you to a little bit about Arthur Jones. I am the chief story architect at the It's Your Story Lab, and I really focus all of my attention on using narrative and story to help people roar. ROAR is an acronym. It's to build return on authentic relationships. And I believe that we can use narrative and story to let people know that they are seen, heard, understood, respected, and trusted. And when we do that, reciprocity, which we're going to be talking about today, kicks in, and we get their respect and trust in return. And we all know that other acronym, KLT. KLT is know, like, and trust. That's what it's all about. That's how I use story to help people be known, liked, and trusted in the most authentic way. And we're going to be talking about some of the strategies that we can use that simply resonate with humans because that's the way we're wired. The There's seven key elements of influence as told by Robert Cialdini. I believe him because he spent 30 years of his professorial career studying influence. And that's what we're going to talk to you about today. His book has 316 pages in it. This 30-minute presentation is going to be a summary of it. Baked into that summary is going to be my thesis on how story helps us really leverage influence. We're going to talk about story examples. We're going to talk about story formula. And in a few instances, we'll talk about some exercises you can do to use these ideas. The first one we're going to talk about is reciprocity. And reciprocity is when you do something nice for me, I do something nice for you. And that's what that picture is trying to depict. The definition is people tend to return a favor. When businesses give something of value to customers, are more likely to feel obligated to reciprocate. This is something that just works in humans. If you give me a rose, I will find some way to repay you with something at some point. If not in that moment, it will happen at some point in the very near future because we believe that once someone has done something nice for us, we will do it in return for them. When it comes to how to do that with a story, reciprocity through storytelling, you have to imagine a small coffee shop that starts a pay it forward campaign. Each customer can pay for an extra coffee, which is then given to a future customer who might need it. One day, a regular customer who had previously received a free coffee during a tough financial period comes back to the shop as a successful entrepreneur, and funds a whole day's worth of coffee for everyone. That's paying it forward. That's what reciprocity is. If you're not familiar with Joseph Campbell, another academic, studied stories on all continents through all of history and found out they all stories told whenever they were told, from Gilgamesh, the first recorded story, to Star Wars and the Wizard of Oz, they all follow the same arc of the story. There's a hero who has a call to adventure, who meets a mentor who gives him a supernatural aid. In the Wizard of Oz, Dorothy got the ruby slippers. In Star Wars, Luke got the Force. They struggle with the slippers or the Force until they get command of it. The mentor and the helpers help them. They slay the dragon or the witch or the Death Star. They are transformed. Their world is transformed, and they return a changed person. That's the arc of the story. And here's the story formula for this example of reciprocity we just looked at. The circle of kindness structure. Start by setting the scene, the coffee shop and its campaign. Then show the impact of the campaign on the individual, the customer during a tough time. Follow with the transformation of this individual, becoming a successful entrepreneur, and culminate in the grand gesture of giving back, creating a full circle of kindness. The key elements in this story: the story is emotional, it's transformative, and the impact of small acts of kindness and the ripple effect that it creates is what reciprocity is all about. That's the first of the 7 principles. That's reciprocity. You can see that happening here with this gentleman. And here is a short exercise that you can do. To understand the power of giving first in order to receive, think of a service or a small product your business can offer for free or as an added bonus. For 1 week, offer this to your customers without expecting an immediate return. After the week, reflect on any changes in customer behavior or feedback. Did you notice or an increase in your customer loyalty, referrals, or positive reviews? This is what that free ebook might be. This might be that free webinar that you do, and then you give all the slides from that webinar away for free to kick reciprocity into effect. Next on the list is scarcity. Whoops. Let me not. There we go. Scarcity. This gentleman looking at that amazing orb under the glass. Scarcity is only one of a kind. Scarcity really is a human sentiment. Items or opportunities that are perceived as scarce or limited in availability become more desirable. Highlighting limited time offers or exclusive products can spur customers into action. Scarcity enhanced by narrative is an example story. A boutique winery releases a limited edition vintage wine produced from a rare grape harvest that occurs only once every decade. The winery shares stories of the meticulous care and unique process that goes into creating this vintage wine. Emphasizing its rarity, wine enthusiasts become eager to experience this exclusive flavor, leading to a rapid sellout of the vintage. The story formula: the hidden gem structure. Begin with the uniqueness of the product. Delve into the process of creation and build up the climactic release, and then conclude with the overwhelming response from the audience. Key elements: focus on detailing the rarity, the special process behind it, and the fervor it creates. All done with this arc of the hero's journey story. In the interest of time, we've got 30 minutes. I'd love to give you more details on how that hero's journey, which is what we're really speaking about, gets into much more detail. Contact Obehi or me for more on the hero's journey, and we'll be happy to help you get into the depth of that process, because that's where the magic happens, because we are all storytellers on the inside. It touches us in our heart and our guts when you use it well. And we'll give you other examples as we move now to authority. as the third element of influence. Authority is when people respect authority and expertise. Businesses can leverage this by showcasing their expertise or endorsements from authoritative figures in the field. Authority, strengthened through stories. A tech company faced significant challenges in its early years. The CEO, a well respected figure in the tech community, shares stories of overcoming these obstacles, including innovative solutions and breakthroughs. This narrative only showcases the CEO's expertise and the company's resilience, but also builds authority and trust among customers and investors. The story formula, the hero's journey structure, outlined the initial struggles, the, the company's early challenges, the journey of overcoming these challenges, and the eventual triumph that he or she achieves. You highlight the expertise, the leadership qualities, and the innovative solutions that establish authority. And like in the hero's journey, don't forget the mentor and the helpers and the gifts that they gave you to help you achieve and overcome to become the authority in your own story. There's never a hero that becomes the hero without the help of a mentor, helpers, and the gift. So in your storytelling, you are not the hero very often. Make your customer the hero in the story. Commitment. Once people choose or take a stand, they encounter personal, interpersonal pressures to behave consistently with the commitment. This principle is often used in sales strategies, starting with small commitments that lead to larger ones. Commitment and consistency with storytelling. A fitness brand shares a customer's journey from a sedentary lifestyle to completing a marathon. The customer initially commits to a small, manageable change, maybe running just around the block. Encouraged by the brand's supportive community and consistent messaging, this story resonates with the audience's desire for health and fitness, inspiring them to make similar commitments. The transformational journey. Describe the initial state of the customer, sedentary lifestyle, the decision to change, initial small commitments, the journey of transformation, progress towards running a marathon, and the final achievement is the successful running of that marathon. You're focusing on the step by step progression and how consistent efforts lead to significant changes. Once again, the hero journey puts it into a format that touches the heart and the gut, the emotional strings that we all respond to in hearing a story of achievement like that. Social proof. When your crowd of ideal clients is looking at your website and sees that there are people just like them that like your product, that's social proof. People look at the actions and behaviors of others to determine their own. Businesses use testimonials, reviews, and social media influencers to provide social proof to potential customers. Social proof via testimonials and stories. A skincare company uses customer testimonials to tell stories of how their products have transformed lives. One compelling story is of a teenager who overcame severe acne using their products. Bolstered by video diaries and before and after photos, these personal relatable stories provide powerful social proof to potential customers. The story formula, the grassroots movement structure. Illustrate the initial discovery of the product by a few individuals, the organic spread of its popularity through word of mouth, and the resulting widespread acceptance and success. Emphasize the communal discovery using user experiences and the snowball effect on the product's popularity. By using this specific story formula, each element of persuasion can be effectively communicated in a way that resonates with the audience, engaging their emotions and reinforcing the intended message in a memorable and impactful manner. Your business needs storytelling. Storytelling is the the wrapper that you put on your products in all of your communications with your clients to touch them where it matters most, in their heart, in their gut, because intellectually we think we're making decisions. In reality, we're making decisions with our emotions. Story touches us where it matters. Liking is next up. And liking is when people prefer to say yes to those they like. This is that KLT that we spoke of before, the acronym Know, Like, and Trust. Building rapport, finding commonalities, and managing appearances can increase likability and chance of influencing others. Liking through relatable stories. Stories are relatable, repeatable, and memorable. Um, you want the likable, repeatable, and memorable stories so they can be repeated, because you never know. You might not be talking to your ideal customer, but their next door neighbor might be your ideal customer. And if your story is relatable and memorable, when they get home, they can stand in the driveway and repeat it to their neighbor, and then your message is carried to who really needs to hear it. Liking through relatable stories. A family owned bakery shares its history through storytelling, highlighting its humble beginnings, the family recipes passed down through generations, and the love that goes into baking each loaf of bread. Customers connect with the bakery's story, seeing it as more than just a business and part of their own community. Storytelling is powerful mojo. If you're not using it today, you're not maximizing your ability to influence and persuade your customers um, to use your products, to become raving fans of your products, to share the wonder of how people are changed by your products. Story is the way to make that happen. Consistency. And consistency is the one that rules them all, because people like to be consistent with things they have previously said or done. Consistency is activated by looking for and asking for small initial commitments that can be made. Commitment and consistency go hand in hand. Consistency through storytelling. A small gardening business introduces a monthly gardening challenge to its community. The story centers around a business individual with no prior gardening experience who accepts the challenge. Initially, they commit to spending just 10 minutes a day tending to a small garden. Over the months, these brief daily sessions lead to a flourishing garden and a newfound passion for gardening. This transformation from a novice to a dedicated gardener, driven by small but consistent efforts, inspires the audience to embrace consistency in their own pursuits. Every great journey begins with the first step. Story formula, the incremental progress arc. This formula focuses on the power of small, consistent actions leading to significant results. This is where the actions of the mentor, helpers, and the gift they provide to the hero enables her to build the habit of being intentional about consistently practicing until her new habits are strong. And then she becomes capable of achieving her goals. By highlighting the initial modest efforts and gradually showcasing their compounding effects, the story effectively illustrates how consistency can transform an interest into a rewarding, fulfilling hobby or skill, encouraging the audience to apply these principles in various aspects of their lives. The consistency, commitment, liking, social proof, commitment, all have things that we can do to say, to understand how small commitments can lead to a larger one. Start a small challenge related to your business or social media, encouraging your audience to commit to simple related tasks for a short period. For example, the fitness business might start a 10-minute daily workout challenge. Reflection, track participation and engagement. Did participants stick with the challenge? Did this lead to increased interest in your offerings? With each one of these 7 elements, I've added examples and exercises that you can do. To get these exercises, contact Obehi or me. and you will get all of the content that is in these slides in one long PDF that you can scroll through and read through and remember the skills that you want to dedicate some time to becoming really good and competent in, because it's these skills that build your influence and authority and a community of raving fans around your brand. Um, so, Obehi, thank you for having me on your stage to share Robert Cialdini's ideas of 7 keys and my concept of storytelling and how to mash up those 2 things, influence and storytelling, persuasion, influence, and storytelling, to make a business grow and thrive. The last thing to say, and really perhaps the most important thing to say, is that as we conclude our exploration of Robert Cialdini's insightful book, Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion, let's reflect on the journey we've embarked on today. We've delved into the intricacies of the 7 key principles of persuasion: reciprocity, scarcity, authority, commitment, consistency, liking, and social proof, and the enhancement of these principles through storytelling. Through various exercises and story examples, we've seen how these principles aren't just theoretical concepts, but practical tools that can be woven into the very fabric of our daily professional and personal interactions. The Pay It Forward campaign at the coffee shop, the limited edition vintage from a boutique winery. Each of these stories illustrated how persuasion works in real life, tapping into fundamental human drives and emotion. We learned that persuasion is not about manipulation, but about understanding and aligning with these natural human tendencies. But perhaps the most vital takeaway today is the role of consistency, the thread that binds all these principles. It's about being consistent in our values, our actions, and our promises. This consistency builds trust, a cornerstone of influence and persuasion. As we wrap up, remember that the journey of mastering the art of persuasion is ongoing. It's about practicing these principles mindfully and ethically, continually learning from our experiences and the people we interact with. Let's move forward with this knowledge we've gained today, not just to influence others, but to create a more meaningful and positive interactions in all aspects of our lives. Thank you for listening to me talk about influence, persuasion, reciprocity, and storytelling. And Obehi, thank you for having me on your stage today.
Thank you so much, brother. Thank you, Arthur John. You're powerful. I already know something great was going to come out from your presentation, just like what happened before you, where we learned about the idea on how to set goal. Thank you very much for your presentation. I also put down some key point there, but of course, I am not allowed to be asking you questions just now, because of course, you know what I do most is ask a question. But of course, yeah, we will have time for that. I believe that those who have listened to you, they also have their curiosity that they will probably like to clarify from you. And that is why, of course, this room is being recorded so that it can be available for people to learn from and to watch whenever is possible for them. That is the value or the opportunity that we have today, being able to keep our record so that it can be reviewed whenever we want. That is to our advantage. So I really want to thank you so much for your sharing, and also for laying emphasis to the idea of consistency. Because how do you want people to know that you are really serious about what you say you are doing? Take for instance, like us in Aclasses, we just started to do a webinar. I said before that we are not mastered in it yet. We don't even know very much about it. But we are doing it. We believe that we are going to learn along the way, learn all the tricks and strategy on how to do it better. But we are not going to start doing it only when we know how to do it in a very grand scale. We say we are going to do it, and we are going to show up for it, even with our imperfection, even when we don't know everything that we're supposed to know yet. Because we know that tomorrow, as we continue to improve on what we are doing, is going to be better. We know that as we continue to show up, people are going to have more confidence that when we say we're going to do it, we're going to do it. So I think that is really a good takeaway from your speech. Of course, there are a lot of takeaways from there, but I think the question of consistency is absolutely important. In that we don't just want to show up one day and tell the people, hey, this is where I am. No, you need to continue to hone in on the skill that you say you are going to share with the people. And you need to show up every day with the intention also of improving and of adding value to the people. We are here for the sake of the people, to add value to them.